Well, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Exhibition Podcast. We have an incredible guest for you today who I'm going to introduce in just a moment. But before I do that, I always got to say hello to, hey, let's start with Eric today. He might not be ready to go. Eric, you with us?
Oh, you're screwing me up over here, trying to make me hit the wrong buttons over here or what?
Yeah. Well, hey, everyone who watches all the shows, thanks so much to Eric. There's a lot that goes into getting the podcast from here when we're in studio recording out there so that you can watch or listen. For those of you listening to the podcast, there is a chance to see what's going on. We've got a beautiful set here, and if you want to check that out, you're going to find us over on Exhibition TV, our YouTube channel. So don't miss out on that. And if you do, then you'll get to see the lovely Mark Lowen, who's coming on here next.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to all our listeners here closer to home in Alberta, Canada, and around the world.
Jeez, Mark, you've really toned down your outfit here today. Like just in black. Like you're not feeling the vibe of your fancy shirts.
It's a corporate day here, so I'm representing the brand Exhibition here. So doubling up.
Well, today's guest, couldn't be more excited because they're coming on as a partner here with the exhibition, with our shows. And so we're going to be talking about that in the episode. But I get to introduce Warren Hassall. He's from EXL Milling, and he has a product called, you're showing me here. It's Lipigain Equine. And so we're going to hear all about the product today, and it's exciting. It's new as far as it coming over to the horse side of things, but they've been around for over 30 years. And so welcome to the podcast, Warren.
Thanks so much, guys. This is really exciting. This is my first podcast, so I'm a podcast virgin.
Yeah.
So be gentle.
Okay. Yeah. We'll take it. We'll take it slow for you here. It's not our first podcast, so we were talking that this is episodes up into the 30s here now. So
right on.
37.
37. So the goal here is obviously to help you feel comfortable, so that you have a chance to really, get into the weeds about. We talked off camera quite a bit before we hit record today. So I know that we do have a lot of things to talk about. But why don't we just begin right at the beginning and tell us just a very quick introduction as your Lipigain Equine. What is that product?
Well, the product is an energy and protein supplement. So it's 43% fat, 20% protein. And we take local oil seeds and we put them through three very specific processes that do three things. It ups the palatability, the digestibility, but most importantly, the stability of the product. Mm-hmm. So most products that are high in fat or oil will need an antioxidant or a mold inhibitor or a chemical stabilizer because that oil likes to go rancid. Mm-hmm. This product doesn't need any of those. It's all natural, and it's got a shelf life of 9 months to a year, which is incredibly unique. So typical oils for a horse, once they get exposed to air and they start to go off, not utilized as good, this one works really well. Yeah.
And I'm guessing, like, even from, again, we did talk off camera, but from a cost perspective, I mean, it can be a pretty huge investment in these oils to help the safety and the performance and the health of the horse. Yeah. But if those products are then going bad, obviously that's a sunk cost. And my understanding is your product, that doesn't happen.
No, it's and the other thing, when I speak to oil, especially, it's typically an oil will be, as far as cost effectiveness goes, it's usually about $70 for a 3.78 liter jug.
Yeah.
So you're going to feed a couple ounces per head per day. You're going to get 60 mils of oil in that, and that's going to cost you probably about $1.10 a day.
Wow.
So our product, if you feed 2 cups of our dry product, you're going to get 112 milliliters of oil, which is almost double, and it's going to cost you about 60 some cents a day.
Yeah.
So, and plus you get protein with it. Plus you get a prebiotic. So it's kind of a 3-for-1 product. It's not messy like oil. Yeah. So it works really good to replace oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about in the introduction the partnership that we're starting this year, and we're so appreciative of it. But I know our competitors are going to be appreciative too, because at our Equinox show, which we're recording today on Tuesday, so a week today, people will be landing at the Equinox in Claresholm. And every horse that's coming to the show is going to be getting a bag of your product. And that's going to be, my understanding is a month supply.
Yeah.
Which you talked about, like that's going to be enough time to hopefully see a difference in how the product is helping the horses. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. We came out with a 7 kg promotional bag. Our usual bag is about 18.2 kilograms. So that's going to, if you feed your horse 2 cups, it's going to last you about a month. And that's the sweet spot. We like to tell people that you should see something in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as far as like, myself, I take cod liver oil. I started doing that probably 2 to 3 years ago because I had a lot of, I guess it's arthritis pain, but my knees from my hockey days, they really started to hurt, and then I had other issues as well, and so yeah, I started taking the cod liver oil, and there's been a whole bunch of benefits. I think my mind is a little bit sharper, but is there going to be a similar benefit to the horse of what I'm doing with my cod liver oil?
That's a great question. So the product is high in omega-3s.
Yeah.
So it's got a 3-6 ratio of 2 to 1. So 2 3s to 1 6. So really good for overall health, immunity, very anti-inflammatory, like you talked about. Good for cardiovascular, very good for reproduction, hooves and hair. So overall health, get that anti-inflammatory property working, because all of the horses that we're going to be dealing with next week, and typically all of them all together in any type of horse show or whatever they're doing is they need an anti-inflammatory property because they're working them so hard.
Yeah.
So we get the health, we get the anti-inflammatory, we get a real kick in reproduction when we feed the product to horses. Gets mares to cycle a little better. Once they catch, they're going to use those good fats for their own health, but then they're going to pass those good fats on to the foal, who's going to store them in its liver for its development. But also when the foal is born, when it has those good fats in its liver, it has more energy to get up and get going. Then the mare is going to pass those good fats or those omega-3s through the milk to the foal, and it's going to help her lactate, give her more energy for more milk production, which is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know, and I think I neglected to say this in your introduction. You're from Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. Yeah. We've had quite a few Saskatchewan guests on the podcast, and we love everyone from Saskatchewan. You said it's from the good side. Did I hear that correctly?
We're from the good side, and there's not many of us. We only got 1 million people in Saskatchewan. So
yeah,
you got to drive a long way so you can find somebody to wave to when you're going down the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you been with your company, the EXL Milling? Has that always been in Lloyd? Is that where you've been for 30 years?
Yeah, it's always been in Lloyd. It's been since 97. So we've been Saskatchewan people. But you can see the borderline right from the mill. It's just the highway that's right in front of us. So everything in Lloyd is a little weird because we're Alberta or Saskatchewan. Yeah.
So if you don't mind, take us back to then the early days. And so, when I've been on your website and reading up on your product, I mean, as you said, the equine is new, but where did it begin? What were you thinking about as far as creating the company and the product?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we started the company, like I said, over 30 years ago, and there was a concept that we had that we kind of developed. We got some prototype equipment together and did some testing, and we started out with kind of a beef product. And all of our products are basically on the same concept of an energy and protein supplement, so all high fat. But 30 years ago, fat wasn't necessarily the cool thing to feed. The animal nutrition industry has evolved quite a bit in that time frame, but you typically would feed like a carbohydrate or a starch. Yeah. But we realized quickly that fat, of course, is an important component in animals' diets, not only to give them energy, but to give them the right kind of energy, a cool energy for a horse, which is important. But we started out in beef, and of course, we realized that with the technology that we developed, we could actually add bypass fat and protein to the beef product. And that kind of morphed off into a dairy product, which works really well for replacing a fat in a dairy ration. So not only we replace a fat, but we're replacing a typical fat, which would be a tallow or a palm fat, and we replace it with something that's high in omega-3s. So we get the health benefit, the anti-inflammatory, and the real repro kick in dairy, which is incredibly important right now. And plus, it gives them extra energy so the cows milk harder. So we can up the components in the milk. We can make the butter fat a little better, the protein a little better, get them to milk harder, get them to cycle and catch, and lower potentially somatic cell count, which is important in dairy cattle. And so we kind of developed that product, and then we morphed off into pigs. And all the same concepts and all the same animals, basically. It's going to be a reproductive kick. We're going to see better production from the animals. We're going to see higher piglets per sow because she's got more energy to put into her litter. We're going to see better milk production from the sows. And then it kind of morphed off into, and all this time we're changing and adapting and making things different, but it kind of morphed off into chickens, which is good. So right now we're feeding quite a few flocks product to produce omega-3 eggs. And that's the nice thing about the product is it's so shelf stable that it actually transfers into the meat and eggs of the animals and stays stable there, which is really unique because an omega-3 fat is highly volatile. As soon as it's exposed to oxygen or light, it starts to degrade and degrade. And our product doesn't do that. So we've had quite a few flocks that are producing omega eggs for a company here in Alberta, which has went really well. But also seeing that you put a layer on, we like to start them actually at probably 5 or 6 weeks as a pullet, feed them right through to 18 weeks, then they become a layer. And from 19 weeks to 60 weeks, which is their typical lifespan, if we can get their health really good and give them enough energy and good fats, they'll lay more consistent throughout their whole term, which is really important in eggs. In eggs, you want consistent lay, which is not an egg a day. It's 90%, 90 some percent. And you want chickens to lay large eggs. If they get energy and they get the right groceries, they'll go from mediums to larges quickly and maintain that large because that's what the producers are getting paid for. So really important. And then we get the longevity where you don't get birds burning out closer to 60 weeks. They stay laying right till the end. Mortality's down, helps overall really well.
Yeah, and I did take that from your website where, this product is improving the quality of the food that we are now going to eat. And so in a way, we humans are benefiting from the work that you're doing. Something I want to point out, because I think this is really important, is like you are a Canadian-based company through and through. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit and where you're sourcing, the materials that are going into your product.
Yeah, always been Canadian, always been Saskatchewan. We source material mainly from Alberta and Saskatchewan, but we base the mill in a central area where a lot of the oil seeds are grown. So we're in flax and canola country. So just lowering transportation costs, getting us in there. And then, of course, we have a nice hub of local farmers that we support and buy products from that we just know. So a little bit of quality control that way. It's nice to know that the products that we're putting in are local. They're Canadian made. We're one of the reasons why the oilseed farmers have a different niche market as opposed to maybe just selling it to a crusher or to someone else that it's going to go to potentially China or somewhere else, which is not an issue, but always nice to have local products go into another manufacturing that, value adds and keeps it going and stays here in Canada. That's what we really want.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as like the investment that people are making in their horses, which is huge, and their health and nutrition is obviously, essential. They love their friends there. But I feel like we chatted a little earlier about, this isn't something that you're asking people to spend more money on. This is going to be a replacement product, or maybe from what I'm hearing now and from what we've talked about, even possibly a more cost-efficient product where not only it's not going to cost you more money, maybe it even costs you less money. Hey, this is me saying this, not you, but am I on the right track here?
Yeah. We wanted to, obviously, we want the product to work and have results, but we also want it to be cost-effective. It has to have two of those factors for sure. Pretty packaging, cost effective. It's got to work. Otherwise, it's just not going to be effective because, to be quite frank with you, and you guys would know, there's just a million horse products out there. So we're competing in a highly competitive market. Horse people will spend more money on their horse, but if they see something that that's attractive, that can replace maybe a couple products, but in a cost-effective way, and they see results on their horse, it's just it's a no-brainer. It's win-win. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're new to the reining world, and so we talked a little bit about the Yellowstone effect, and we've seen, it's really cool to have seen some of those skills that the NRHA horses are performing on that show. And we talked about sort of the physical demands of a horse coming to our event. So, and I could even get further in. So, typically, for our show next week, and it's even a smaller show, those horses are going to land on site in a week from today. So on the Tuesday. And then they'll start riding that night. The reiners will ride through the night. when with their horses and different horses and that. And then on Wednesday they'll be getting into what's called their paid warm up, and so they'll have some specific time in the arena on their own for that. We'll have a schooling class on the Thursday, and then that horse might show two. In the case of an open horse, they might show two more times, maybe only one more time. But on some of the green reiners with their horses, the rookies, they might show three, even a fourth time over that show. So there's a huge physical demand of these horses, and the sliding stops, and then even with the circles, something that we see, the stops are usually coming at the end of the run. Yeah. And so depending on how those horses are circling, there's a competitive advantage to increasing the difficulty. But now the horse might be tiring out. And I guess my question is, as that's given a little bit of background and context with your product, what might be some of the benefits you would expect the owners of these horses to see at an event like ours?
Well, first thing is typical horses, and this would go back a ways, but they're usually fed maybe more of a carbohydrate diet. Yeah. So with carbohydrates or sugars, you get a spike in energy and then you get a drop. Just like when you have a Coca-Cola, yep, you get that spike and then you get a drop. There's no longevity in it. With our product, you get what we call a cool energy. So the fat produces an energy that is sustainable over a longer period of time. And it's really part of the beauty of how the product is digested. The processes in combination with the soluble and insoluble fiber, they make a real positive environment in the gut for enzymatic activity. And so the fibers kind of lay on top of one another and they create space. And that space allows that stomach bacteria to work because there is space, as opposed to having maybe swallowing. Give you an example, like if you were to take a bunch of flour and put it in your mouth and drink water behind it, it kind of creates a ball in your stomach.
Not good.
Not good. So it creates this space, and what it does is, because of the particulate different size in our product, it's not all the same size. Some of it's powder, some of it's larger particles. Those bugs will start working on the powder right away and they release energy. But it's kind of a timed release. So the bugs will start working and then they start working on the bigger sizes and it takes more time. And you get that nice even release of energy, which gives you energy throughout a longer period. Yeah. And that also helps the gut stay active for a longer period of time instead of a slug. And the gut gets really hot and has a tendency to maybe get acidic, where it'll cause issues maybe with ulcers. If with the product that we have, it's more of a time release, so we get a consistent amount of digestion over a longer period of time, which actually will help keep the pH of the gut lower. Yeah. It's working constantly. So horses, for you, back to the question, was you're going to see consistent energy. You're going to see anti-inflammatory properties. Any horse that has had anti-inflammatory is going to feel better. They're going to be more flexible. They're going to have more get up and go because they have the energy to do it. So all those things combined, besides the fact that, of course, it's really good for hoof and hair. You're going to see some shiny horses out there, but that'll give them maybe something that's a little bit different to maintain the kind of performance they need over the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I'm hearing you talk about the digestibility of the product and all of that, one of the questions, because I don't know, but as far as the safety of a product, because if you're asking somebody to put something new into their horse, is this something that you would expect 100%, like any horse will benefit from that? Or is there a chance like, hey, this product isn't going to work for all horses? So what's your experience there?
My experience is that everyone will tell me, I have a super easy keeper. They get fat on air. Should I feed the product? And my answer is, most people you can't convince if they're that easy a keeper to put them on. But if you do put them on a small amount, every horse can benefit from good fats. Yeah. So a horse that's potentially heavier can actually get an anti-inflammatory response, and it'll help their typically their appetite is more. Mm-hmm. So you get a little bit of good fat in there. It can sedate that a little bit or cushion that some, so it's not as prominent. But typically I would say that every horse, other than the ones that are super easy keepers that get fat on air, can benefit from good fats.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. It's just like every person in the world could benefit from like you're taking your oil.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And something you mentioned earlier as well was just that, you know, I guess, again, I've never tried feeding a horse oil, but it can be messy and it can, you know, and other challenges or whatever, like your product, the horses, they're going to want to eat this, right?
Yeah.
It's going to make delivering those healthy essentials that you're giving them easier.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in a dry form. It looks like a meal. So really easy to feed, really easy to top dress. We have the palatability is good, but you do, and I won't lie to you, you do get that occasional fussy horse, just like people. There's certain things that they just don't want to eat. Yeah. You'll run into that a little bit. But we have really good success with the palatability and, of course, the fact that it's in a dry form. You throw it in your trailer, you go to your show, you're not worried about the oil jug spilling over and causing a mess. It's well accepted and it utilized really well.
Well, I do want to give Mark an opportunity to come on here because he's always connecting with the rest of the X team that can't be here, and so Danny and Rochelle. Of course, Rochelle, you know, was the one who knew you and introduced you to everything that we're doing here. Mark, did you have any questions or comments that you wanted to add here?
Well, yeah. Do we need to warn? This is the real hard-hitting edge of the podcast where you're really going to be taxed. So
be gentle, Mark.
Well, three just you know, tidbits to throw you away from our field of operators out there, Danny, Rochelle, and Pearl. One would be the softball question to start all off. Why do you call it EXL milling?
It was called EXL initially because my grandfather actually had a ranch called EXL Ranch, and EXL was short for Excel. So it kind of that's how we developed it.
I love it. That's a great play on the exhibition. We love to play around with X's.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's great partnership.
Yes. And then Danny, of course, she's our expert in the barrel racing world and would like to send her thanks. You were a partner with us even before you knew it, since you, EXL Milling, sponsors Laura Rachel Performance Horses, and she owns ZS One Wicked Fire, who is new to our stallion program this year. So
nice.
How about that? You were a buddy of ours before we even talked on the phone.
I love it.
Yeah. Now for the real hard-hitting thing. So over the years, Rochelle has told me that a lot of horse people have heard that they don't like feeding canola products to their horses. Some felt that due to the processing, it was an inflammatory agent, and others felt that the omega-3/6 ratio wasn't ideal. So how is the processing and formulation of Lipigain suitable for their horse's health?
Super good question. A lot of horse people will say don't feed canola, and I'll tell you right now that when canola products that have been through a crusher, they go through a bunch of different processes that actually denature the canola itself. So they'll go through a lot of heat, they'll go through a lot of chemical washing, it strips things out, it adds chemicals to it, and that's typically why seed oils get a bad rap. The process that we put ours through, and ours stays whole. Everything that's in it stays in it, but it's all natural process that we put it through. It actually mitigates any anti-nutritional properties that you could find with canola. So it stays in its all natural state. Now, canola by itself is high in omega-6s. So it is an inflammatory product. But we have it in our product in a ratio that of course, there's flax in our product. So the 3s are very high. So we purposely designed the product so the 3/6 ratio is 2-to-1. So the good 3s from the flax offset the 6s from the canola and make our product very anti-inflammatory. But what canola does, and what most people miss with canola, is when it's in its whole state, it has a super unique amino acid profile that really benefits the horses. So what these horses are going to do is they're going to take in those good fats, and then they're going to utilize them for their health, but then they'll use them as energy to convert the amino acids in the product to top line. And that's what the product works really well for, putting top line on working and senior horses. So that canola is a very important proponent to giving the amino acids the proper ratio and getting those top line on those horses. Plus it's high in fat. So it works extremely well, and I get that question all the time, but it's a great question. And that's why ours is very unique, and there's no issues with the the potential canola rumors that you've been hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, to me, I'm sitting here looking to make sense of this, and I just think about the fertilizers that my wife, who manages our grass, and when you get the right ratios of the various products that are in that fertilizer, the grass grows like a weed, and it's beautiful green and all of that, and you got to cut it all the time.
Yeah.
But you get those ratios off, and you kill your grass, and so I appreciate the science that goes into it's not the individual parts that are bad. It's how those parts come together. Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, it's how they synergistically work together, and how the special processes that we do have, how it enhances that.
Yeah.
And that's really the secret sauce. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for people who are coming to the show, I mean, hopefully they get a chance to watch the YouTube version and see on the podcast. But you're going to be coming to the Equinox next week. You're going to be there on the Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. That's the paid warm-ups day. So not everyone will be there yet, but a lot of people will.
Yeah.
And then you're going to stick around Thursday morning. You got to head off to the Horse Expo that's happening up in Red Deer. But is that correct? You're going to be around on those 2 days?
Those 2 days I'll be around, and then we head to the Horse Expo. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I always like to, if I give people product, I like to have a nice conversation with them and tell them a little bit, and you get that personal connection.
Yeah.
I think to be honest with you, I think we kind of miss that in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We need that personal connection back. We need the face-to-face, have conversations, meet people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something really powerful about it.
Well, my hope is that people are going to get a chance to try this product. And then in that month after the show, because, ideally it would be great. Somebody takes it on Thursday and they win the class on Friday. It's not going to happen that quickly.
No.
But I think we talked about where you can expect over the course of 3 weeks to 4 weeks where you're going to see, it's going to be a noticeable benefit that people are going to see in their horses.
Yeah.
And so then as we move throughout the year, hopefully we'll have you back at the exhibition. You can be there again in Calgary. We'll have some product there for people who need to get more. But beyond that, my understanding is that you partner as a distributor with Trout Nutrition.
Yep.
And so that's great. They've been a sponsor of us for several years now. So how does that partnership with Trout work?
Well, we brought the product out last January, and we sent them product to try on some of their internal horses. They did some testing on it. They decided they liked it. And within 3 months, they became a distributor for Western Canada for us, which is massive for me because before that, I was basically running to feed stores, delivering feed by myself to get the product started, which is something you need to do. It's just important.
Yeah.
But now Trout takes it to a central distribution point, and any horse or any store that sells Trout product can order it from a central distribution point, and the freight is economical. So they can throw a few bags on, and even if they just wanted 2 bags, they could get it out there economically, where before I would have to drive to somewhere in BC to get them bags, which just didn't make sense.
But you were willing to do it, and I feel like that's what Rochelle has shared with me. Like you're super dedicated to the work that you're doing, and I think that's commendable. So I feel like on your website, I had looked at sort of the heat map of where people can get your product, and there's a ton of places here in Alberta, but it is throughout Western Canada. What's the best way for people to get your product?
Yeah, so if they look on the map and see a close dealer, if they sell Trout products, step right 1 through 8, they're going to be able to order our product.
Yeah.
So Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC. We have independent stores started in Ontario, and probably in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be coming out with an announcement. We have a distributor for Eastern Canada that we're bringing online. I can't say who it is quite yet, but we will be doing that. So it's spread really well. The product's caught on really well. We've given away a ton of bags, and those bags usually turn into customers. So we're really proud of how the product has, found its place and is growing now. I just got actually back from a show in Ocala, Florida. We got some stores started in Ocala, but it's just those little baby steps is what I did last January, is getting into a few stores, getting the product into people's hands, and then they talk. And social media is so powerful, as you guys would know with this show. It doesn't take long, and all of a sudden they're talking to people all over, and it goes, and it's been great.
Yeah.
It also shows on your map you've got 2 stores way up in Yukon. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and we got a couple of Yukon stores. One's a Trout store, one's not. But and that basically was, to be honest with you, the Horse Expo started everything for us last year. Mm-hmm. It is such a good show, and we gave out bags, and we got a lot of interest, and You talked about the Yellowstone effect. It's funny you said that because Al Dunning is on Yellowstone. Do you know Al Dunning?
I don't know him personally, but I was supposed to meet him. Anyways, no,
Yeah,
I know who he is. Don't know him.
Yeah, yeah. So Al Dunning was at the Horse Expo last year, and I got to meet him, which
Yeah.
was really good, outside of a restaurant, just randomly. And I brought him back to my booth and I said, "I'm going to give you some feed, Al." And Al said to me, he goes, "Warren, I'm going to be honest with you. Companies do this to me all the time. They give me feed to try. It all ends up in the garbage." He said, "I feed the best anyways." He's a Purina guy.
Yeah.
But he said, "I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you what I think of it." But he said, "Just don't expect much." But he's super polite, very nice person. He called me a month later and he said, "Warren, I love this feed." He said, "I can pick out the 3 horses in the pens that are getting it."
Yeah.
He said, "I'm super impressed. I'm going to be feeding it to all my horses," and he still is
Wow.
right now.
Yeah.
So he's helping me kind of get the product spread in Arizona a little bit to his contacts, and it's been a super cool thing. And I'll be completely frank with you, I didn't know Al Dunning from I didn't even know who he was.
He probably appreciated that. You're not talking to him because he's Al. You're just interested in talking to anyone, and yeah.
So that was a really good contact, and the Horse Expo. I'll say it again. It's just been tremendous, and your show will do that to me in the reining world. We'll get some good contacts. We'll get people started on it. We'll get a buzz, and it'll go. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I love horses to be healthy. I mean, one of the challenges that happens where throughout the show season, where the horses they come up lame, and and then they have to cancel from a show, and we understand it's a part of the business, but my guess would be is that we'd probably see less of that with a product like yours.
Yeah, we would like to say that you could see less of that. I never mentioned to you, of course, the product is low in sugar, so good for metabolic horses. Of course, some laminitis can be a little bit of an issue with that, but the product works really well there. So yeah, I'm hoping that you're going to see all sorts of good things. And I brought a bag to give you, but apparently you don't have a horse.
I eat like a horse, my wife will tell you, but I'm not. I don't have a horse, so no. We'll keep. We'll take advantage of those extra bags and make sure they get into the hands of the people who do have horses and the people who are coming to our show. So
yeah,
such an exciting partnership. I know Mark often likes to ask this question. I don't want to steal it from him, but are you going to ask him about what we didn't ask him?
I could do that since you've thrown to me and I'm on camera here. But is there anything we haven't asked you about that we should have? Like, should we have asked you about? Did you take any Bobcats games in Lloyd this year or anything like that?
I did not take a Bobcats game in, but I'm a Oilers fan, and we've been super excited to see how they're doing.
Yeah.
And are you guys Flames fans?
I'm not.
You're not.
Well, I like the Flames. It's just like, but I'm not a diehard Flames.
You're not a diehard.
I'm a hockey fan. I was born and raised in BC, so my dad took me to Canucks games when I was a little guy. So technically, I was a Canucks fan. They lost me when they hired Tortorella as their coach, and then the Flames. They with my young daughters taking them to Flames games, I actually became a Flames fan, and I knew that because I went to a hockey game with one of my girls. And I wore a Canucks jersey and my daughter wore the Flames jersey. And the Flames scored early. And I jumped out of my seat and was cheering and giving a high five. And I looked down at my jersey and I was like, wow, they just scored against my team. And I was cheering. I think I am a Flames fan. But
good for you.
I like the Oilers. I'm a big fan. I'm one of those rare Calgarians who thinks that Evan Bouchard should win the Norris Trophy this year. I think he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He makes mistakes, but it's risk reward, and I think the reward is high. I think we win the gold medal at the Olympics if he's on that team.
Yeah.
That's my position. And now there's going to be a bunch of people from Calgary who maybe don't like me as much anymore. I'm not afraid to say it. He's a great defenseman.
Yeah.
No, they're a great team. They're entertaining. That's what I like, and I hope you win a cup this year.
Well, I'll be quite frank with you. I mean, any team that's Canadian, I would hope for.
Yeah.
We just need the cup back in Canada. That's for sure.
Do.
Oh, I gotta disagree with that because we win the cup every year. There's somebody from small town Saskatchewan on the team every year. The cup visits every summer. All the players, when Vegas won a few years ago, they had the most Canadians of any team in the NHL on their roster. So the commissioner still presents it to the captain of the team first. It's a great thing, and Canada still wins the cup every year. So,
Yeah.
and they'll win it this year, regardless of where the team is based.
I'm not going to say that Mark's wrong, but he justifies that comment because he cheers for the Detroit Red Wings.
The
and so,
Detroit Red Wings.
yeah, I don't think they made the playoffs. I'm not sure.
I don't
Mark,
No,
do you
but
know?
neither did the Flames or the Canucks and the Oilers. They have more points than the Oilers. That luckily they play in the Pacific Division. So, I mean, they could finish anywhere from first in the division to a wild card spot still. So,
Yeah.
but anyhow,
Well, this has been a great conversation, Warren, and I look forward to more. I'm a nerd, and so
Yeah.
hearing some of the things that you talked about, it's new to me, and I want to know more about it. So I'm going to keep picking your brain. I look forward to introducing you to the friends that we've made who come to our shows. It sounds like you got a great product for horses, and that to me is something that we are excited to get behind.
Yeah.
And the thing we even talked earlier about is the industry is so great because if people get a chance to try your product and they like it, then they're gonna they're not just going to want to use your product. They're going to want to tell their friends about it. And so I'm excited about that. So thank you so much for coming and being on the show here today. Eric, did you want to have anything to add here before we start to sign off?
I think I'm okay. I'm just happy sitting in the background, pushing all the buttons. I just like listening to the stories. It's fun.
All right. Well, Warren, you mentioned you have some kids. How old are your kids?
You put me on the spot. I got to remember. their
Okay.
ages now.
About how
Come on,
old are
you
your
can't
kids?
do that now. 33, 29, 26.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So they're grown up. Any of them follow your path, or have they moved out into other?
No, I've got my oldest son is doing some business of his own, and maybe someday we'll come back in.
Yeah.
And my daughter is the middle daughter is got twins and expecting another one here in a month.
Wow.
So I'm a grandpa, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Although I want to preface that the kids, I told the kids that my name is GP.
Oh.
Is that,
Hey, they're calling right now. I think
is that really my phone? I put it on Do Not Disturb.
I think it is your phone, and the reason they're calling is because they want to tell you how old they are.
I am sorry that's ringing. That's crazy. Can I shut it off?
sure. Yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah.
I put it on Do Not Disturb.
That's funny.
Anyway, sorry.
Eric, is there a natural cut where you can come back to me and we'll go back, or do you want to just leave it as it is?
I think we should leave. I think that's hilarious.
Okay. Hey, yeah.
Yeah, so they my name is GP. So they and my wife always gave me heck because she said you can't call yourself GP because the kids when they first starting to talk they're just going to call you PP. But you know what? They got it. They got GP, and GP is a cool grandpa.
No, I bet.
Yeah, GP.
Oh, yeah.
Is, he's got it going on. He's going to ride roller coasters and.
Well, it's short for Grand Prix in our world, because as much as this is a hockey podcast, it's also a Formula One podcast.
It's also Max's engineer. GP.
Yeah, and
he's just
GP
gotten some big news in the F1 world for that kind of stuff.
So-
Yeah, GP was just in the news because in a couple of years he's moving from Red Bull to McLaren, so that's a big deal.
Who's moving from Red Bull to McLaren?
Max Verstappen's engineer.
Max is.
Yeah.
Oh,
GP.
I see. So who are we hoping for then? Who's your main team?
I'm new. I'm a newbie. I'm a fake F1 fan. I watched Drive to Survive and caught the bug, but
Me too.
Eric and Mark are like the real fans. So, Mark, you want to tell us who you like?
Oh, the GOAT, Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
So, and he's got a chance again this year. So,
Yeah.
and then my second favorite driver this year is Kimi Antonelli.
I think he's great.
He's fantastic. Yes.
I watched the Netflix show and he's climbing in the car going, I just got my driver's license, and he's driving an F1 car.
Yeah.
The kid's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he doesn't got the ego yet, and he's really humble, nice person.
And he's a heck of a driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think we've ever talked about it in any of our 30 plus podcast episodes, but the Schumacher name, of course, there's a connection in the racing world because his daughter Gina is an unbelievable rider. So
I didn't know
the
that.
Schumacher family is big in the racing world.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gina has competed in Run for a Million. I mean, she is, next to Mandy McCutcheon, who's a legend on the non-pro side of things. Like Gina is an incredible rider, has has incredible horses to ride. But yeah, it's a neat connection between our Formula One show here and the reining world that we talk about all the time. So
You guys got a lot of things going on this show.
That's one of our slogans.
Got a
it's
lot of shit
a
going
lot
on.
of shit going on. That's what we say. So, hey, well, Warren, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming all the way from Lloyd, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week, if not before, and many times throughout the season. I wish you incredible success as you come into the equine world. This is exciting, and if we can be a small part of it, we're happy to help you out.
Thanks so much, guys. It was really nice to be here. It's really cool. I would encourage anybody to come into your studio and see what's going on here. It's a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
And it takes so much to do something like this. You just think it's guys just throwing standing in front of a microphone, but Eric is just looking. I can tell already he's just a genius at putting this all together and making us look good. Although he didn't put any makeup on me, which I was disappointed with this morning. I don't know how it's going to turn
Yeah,
out. But
unfortunately, I don't quite have the touch-up skills live action. We'll have to hire somebody for that.
good deal.
Oh, that's so funny.
But yeah, no. So this has been great. I appreciate it, guys. Really do.
Our pleasure from the desk here too. Thanks for coming out, Warren.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning into the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, definitely subscribe. And hey, if you're coming to the Equinox next week, a week away, not when you're listening to it now, we're recording on Tuesday, but Eric gets these episodes out pretty quickly. Can't wait to see you next week. We're kicking off 2026 in a big way. It's going to be an exciting year. Thank you for listening.